Have you ever thought that there's so much more I could be doing with my life? The ladies that I have on set of Shasta's journey today took a different path to reach the desires of their heart to impact others. I'm really excited for you to hear their inspirational stories that can teach, heal, or inspire you. So sit back and be inspired. Today I have 3 ladies joining me from She Became, which is an amazing organization. We have Joanna, Natasha, and Maribel. So they're going to be sharing their stories, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for being on the set.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, of course. I've already had Joanna and Natasha on set of Shasta's journey. If you guys want to see like the full episode of them sharing in depth about what God has done in their life, you can look Shasta's journey up on YouTube and check that out. But for today, we're going to catch up with them and hear what's new. Yeah, so first off, Joanna, you are the founder of She Became. Could you tell us a little bit about what She Became is and who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So She Became was founded in the summer of 2016. It was started because of just the need, right, to build girls up and to let them know that they're worthy, that they're valuable human beings here on earth. And it was actually something that really was missing inside my life as a teenager growing up. I really wanted to do many things in life, and I didn't know exactly how to do it or find really inspiring women to look up to. And I think we all need that, a positive influence to look up to so we can keep on going, right? And we're now in Modesto, California. We meet once a month, every month at Modesto Junior College. So I just want to say thanks to our local college that gives us the opportunity to meet there once a month. And we actually have a program in schools now as well. So we've had the opportunity to teach elementary girls and junior high girls, and also high school. I went to my high school to do a workshop, and literally it felt so amazing because the last time that I was a student there was when I got into a fight. And it was over gossip, and you know, we look at it now and it's like, what were you thinking? What were you doing? Yeah. So She Became is now building, it's empowering and encouraging girls and women in Modesto, California at the moment, but we really hope to see this model that we have built to expand throughout San Luis County, California, I mean international. The vision is huge now.
Mm-hmm. That would be incredible.
Yes.
And we just have to keep in mind that God's dreams for us are so much bigger than we could ever imagine.
Absolutely.
And it has grown tremendously just within the last 2 years since you've been on Shasta's journey.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, coming from like a really, really small organization, just a small seed, a small dream, and have it just flourish right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I can say it's all God from day one, from being a 23-year-old, not knowing how to start an organization, how to run a nonprofit, how to run with this vision. All I knew is that I had passion. Mm-hmm. I knew that I had this strong desire of changing the lives of young girls, and I didn't know how to do it, but something told me inside that I had to keep on going. I faced rejections with some of my community members where they're like, you know what, go ahead and go to this organization to see if they'll accept your vision. Or maybe go to your church. Your church can adopt your dream. Maybe that God gave you this vision, but it wasn't meant to be an organization. It was meant to fall under an umbrella. And yeah, I took the advice. I'm like, okay, you know, great. Thank you for your advice. But deep down, I knew inside that, no, God gave me this. I have this burning desire, and I have to move forward no matter what. And it has been an amazing journey. I definitely feel like we could be at a different level or possible reach. But I know that everything is happening accordingly to how God exactly wants it. And it's been those small steps where we've been learning, we've been trusting, we've been walking by faith, just to, and it makes the story that much stronger, knowing that you took this rejection and you didn't allow rejection to stop you, and you kept on going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I feel all the time, you know, looking at 7 years into TV to where I am now. And sometimes I wish I was so much further, but at the same time, it's all about being prepared, right? And building yourself up and taking those no's because, you know, they can only push you further, you know, and make you stronger. So if you have a dream in your heart and it somehow hasn't come true yet, just keep pushing for it because it can happen. And you ladies were actually inspired and motivated by the work that Joanna did. And you guys are actually involved in She Became now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How long have you guys been going to She Became, Natasha?
It's been a little over a year for me, and it was just so funny how it happened because I do feel we have very similar backgrounds when it comes to school. A lot of bullying and just a lot of being excluded and just not knowing who you are. So I used to actually work with a young lady who was involved in She Became, and she just kept telling me about Joanna and kept telling me about She Became. And one day Joanna just reached out to me. We met for coffee, and here we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to just add to that because it did not happen like that. So, yes, we had a mutual friend, 20-year-old, she was 18, 19, 20 when she was involved with us, and she's an amazing, amazing young lady. And they used to work together, and she shared about She Became to Natasha, and then Natasha joined our, or attended our first conference.
Yeah.
But actually, we attended the same church. We just didn't
for
know each
years.
other.
Wow.
And then I actually watched her full episode on Shasta's journey, and that's how I was able to really get to know her. And that's when I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, you want to have some coffee?" And that's when we began to have this relationship. And she's been an amazing addition to the She Became team, ambassador team, and it's just a wonderful servant and leader.
I love it. I love it. If you check these ladies out on social media, we actually have their website, shebecame.com. You guys can learn a lot more. We only have 30 minutes to learn about them, so you're going to have to go do some more digging to learn some more things. But Maribel, sorry, my bad.
That's fine.
What was it like going to She Became and experiencing the organization?
Well, actually, how I met She Became was completely out of the blue. I was actually going through this program called Project Yes, and it was just to help me find a job. And in order to get access to have that job, I had to do volunteer service. And Joanna so happened to, she used to work with Project Yes, so she would do her workshops there. And I was like, okay, I need some service. I need some hours done. So I went ahead and I was like, hey, is it okay if you fill in my timesheet if I go into the workshop? And she's like, oh, yeah. And I just didn't see anything at first. I was just more of, okay, I just want to get a job. And then eventually, it's been 2 years since then, and I have been coming to her workshops, and I would honestly enjoy it a lot.
Wow, wow. Joanna, can you paint a picture of what women would expect if they go to your workshop?
Yeah. Actually, I want to go back to Maribel, and I want her to share this story of her thought about me. Because it's gonna tie into your next question.
Okay, so my thought when I first saw her, I was just like, oh, you're so crazy, like you're a happy person, but I was like, that's not for me. I was more of, I like to keep to myself. So when she came up to me, I was like, okay, I just need my hours. And she actually knew where I worked because we ran into each other. And a few times she would be like, oh, hey, when are you going to come to the next workshop? And I would say, oh, yeah, I think I worked that day, so I'm not sure if it's going to fit in. And then it just kept going an ongoing thing where we would run into each other, and I would say, oh, I'm not available. And I just kept saying, man, this lady keeps coming to me. Why is she coming to me? And then, here I am.
Yeah. I think that's a great story because it just shows that persistence is key. It's about not leaving somebody behind.
Yeah.
It's about always pursuing that, just like God pursues us. He goes after that one. And I consider everyone that I cross my path with that we're either going to learn from each other or maybe this person is going to be part of my life somehow. But not only that, when I go into workshops or when I go into any type of opportunity that I have as a speaker, I know that, okay, God, you have me here for a reason, whether that be 10 minutes, whether that be an hour or a few months. I know that I'm planting seeds.
That's right.
And the same for She Became. We have a lot of ladies and girls that come on a consistent basis, but we also have the ones that are only there for a while. or, you know, for one workshop or one conference, whether that be. So I take that time very precious and very valuable, because whatever it is we're taking, they're going to remember us. Whether that be because we welcomed them, they felt welcomed, they learned something, or they just were able to see that love, that passion, that desire, and that happiness that only God has given us through who we are as human beings, because He lives in us. And our job is to aspire and be the light, the hope, and the change for young women or anyone. I mean, we can learn off of anybody who's a day older than us to 40 years older than us. There's always opportunity for growth, and just to learn off of each other.
Yeah, it's to be that vessel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Natasha, how do you feel that you've been able to be a vessel with your story at She Became?
You know, it's just funny how it happened, because I feel like everything that I've been through in life, God literally He set me up for just something like this. And it feels really good to be able to share my story and to pour into other young women and even older women with similar experiences, or they're going through it themselves right now. It's just amazing that God works in those ways, and you know, you're able to take the things that used to hurt so much and to, you know, it makes you stronger, you know?
Yeah. Maribel, has there been a moment where you're like, this is exactly why I'm here? This is exactly why God put me in She Became?
Yes, I've had moments like that. So for me, myself, I have gone through bullying a lot when I was younger, not feeling in place, feeling like I needed to put a mask over me to be someone wanted me to be. And, you know, I also struggled a lot with myself and my body, and being with She Became, it brought to my attention that I'm beautiful and that I have a voice as well.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that everything that these women are saying right now is something that I can personally attest to, because I was bullied too, and I have been through times where I feel that I had to be what other people wanted me to be. And I'm just now starting to realize that people pleasing is not what God wants from us, because we were all individually, uniquely made to be exactly who we are. Like, there's only one Joanna, and Joanna, you know, had a seed that she needed to plant, and Natasha, she had something that she needed to do, and you have something that you need to do. So we need to not strive to be other people, right? And this actually kind of brings us to Joanna's book that's about to come out. It's Discover Your True Worth. Joanna, tell us a little bit more about this.
Yes, I just had to take a deep breath because on the way here, I was just talking about my journey. And Discover Your True Worth is exactly the title. It's about discovering who we are as a woman. There's two parts to the book. Part one is the awakening, and then part two is the journey. And when I talk about the awakening, it's really the transformation and the awakening process that women need to go through to discover their identity, to discover their self-worth, to discover that they have power, to discover that they have a voice, to discover that they have a story, and it's not meant to be kept inside, but instead it's actually your tools and your weapon to transform others and impact others in your life, wherever you cross them in the path. And part two, which is the journey, I talk about the beginning of She Became and how it started and some of the obstacles and rejections that I faced as a young woman, not knowing how to start a nonprofit and not knowing where to begin and what things to do. But all it took was one person to believe in me. And it was actually Project Yes, where I met Maribel, the program manager. He gave me an opportunity to have a workshop for young women. And the reason he gave me that opportunity was because he knew the demand that's going on right now with letting girls know their worth, letting them know that they're not alone, that they have a future in front of them, but they need resources. They need women like us, loving, available, reliable, patient, to guide them into a positive direction in life.
Actually, this kind of reminds me of something Natasha and I spoke about. We spoke about singleness when she was on the show, and like the desire to have a significant other. But you know, us three are in a season right now where we're learning to be comfortable in our own skin and learning to love ourselves so we can love somebody else, right? What is that season like in your guys' life?
For me, it's just more of trying to know who I am first. I've always tried to pretend I was someone else, so it's more of me trying to be comfortable with who I am and accept that this is me.
How about you, Natasha?
Very similar. You know, it was a very, very, very long journey, excuse me, of God just revealing who I am in His eyes. And it was really hard. It hurt. There was a lot of crying, and there was a lot of hard times, but it's so worth it, and there's so much light. You know, there's so much life in between that you don't see because you're going through it, but you know, at the end of it, there's hope. And like I said, it makes you stronger, and you know, just being okay with who you are, and like I said, just you know, loving yourself and seeing yourself as God created you, which is wonderfully and beautifully, you know.
Absolutely. I've actually had the opportunity to start reading Discover Your True Worth. And what I've realized is even if you've been through it, it's so nice to know that you're not the only one that's been through it and that you are going to overcome it. And I think that's like one of the most empowering things. Or maybe you haven't experienced it yet. This is like armor of you know what to do when that time does come. And I really wanted Joanna to read her note to the readers because I think that it'll give you guys a better idea of what to expect from the book.
Thank you. Have you ever faced rejection in pursuing your passion? How about fear before even taking the first step? Do you doubt if you are capable of doing great things? I want to share with you my journey of tackling and overcoming rejection, fear, doubt, insecurity, barriers, and much more. As a young woman trying to launch an organization while balancing life, family, work, and all the in-between, you can still take action and believe in yourself. It's not easy, but it's worth it because you got this.
You got this. That is like one of my favorite sayings ever. I always tell myself, look in the mirror, I'm like, you got this. Right? Every time you walk into some scary, you got this. You got this. When is that book coming out?
So it's actually going to be available on Kindle on Friday, August 9th. I think it's a Friday, but it's August 9th when it's going to be officially out to the public on Amazon and Kindle, which you can also find on Amazon.
That's exciting.
Yes.
And so this book is already out, am I correct?
This one's out, yes.
Okay, so this book is already out. I love the little touch of yellow, it kind of matches. But this is also, she became, and it says, become a brave girl in 20 minutes. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, absolutely. So it's funny because my Discover Your True Worth book took me about a year to write, and that's that I took a break and really wanted to push myself to finish it. And I was so excited to finish because it's a project, right? And when I finished it, I was like, okay, I don't have anything to worry about. I'm done. And then I was like, oh, no, I'm not. Now I need something that's easy and relatable for girls, because ultimately my heart is out for the teenagers, for young women, right? In that time. And I needed something that would communicate to them, that would speak to them. And I got inspired by another book, which was Become, I think, Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes from an amazing Latina author that I met down south. And I was like, okay, I need to write a book in 20 minutes, something that a teenager can read in 20 minutes that I can grab their attention really quick, but still be inspired by this book. So I love drawing or writing out, mind mapping, putting my ideas on paper. And so I came up with the book, She Became Brave. And then I was like, okay, so now what would brave stand for? And now it stands for being bold, resilient, accepted, victorious, and educated. And it's a simple book, easy 20-minute read, but it's like having a mentor in the back of your pocket or easy access to. Be inspired in 20 minutes. Become a brave girl in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I love, if you look at this, like, it's only like 40 pages. Like, that's amazing. Like, so much good stuff. It's such a small, like, this is not intimidating. The size is not intimidating at all. I love it. I love it so much. Actually, I might as well just tell you guys right now, but I met with Joanna and we were talking, so I've actually been in the process of writing a book as well. Maybe I'll post more about that on my social media account sometime soon. So look it up at Shasta's Journey just to see more. This is amazing. How long did it take you to write these 2 books?
So this one took me about a year, but I did take a break. That one took me about maybe an hour.
Oh.
So
man, when you put your mind to something.
Yeah, you know what? I use Google Docs a lot, and I just put on my little audio recorder, and I just started writing.
Smart.
And so once I finished, I was like, well, I have my framework already. So now I just need to, like, you know, fix it, update it, what works, what doesn't. And then I had professional just edited, and that was it. I mean, if you really take a moment, those 20 minutes to actually read it, it's just an inspiring book to get you on the right track. And it's easy to become bold, resilient, accepted, victorious, and educated. And educated, actually, I really like that chapter because we were also talking on the way here about education and just how our education looks different for all of us. Some of us take 20 plus years to finish and get a degree. Some of us don't go to school. But there's an importance of either having higher education or just having knowledge, right? Because anybody can continue to learn by reading books, self-learning. And what I added in that book, because I know that something that's very on the rise right now is human trafficking, right? Human trafficking, rape, it all goes back to not knowing your worth, not knowing who you are as an individual, that you fall and you become vulnerable to these situations in life. That's what I wanted to point out as well, is that we as young women should know the signs or the dangers, whether it be emotional abuse, verbal abuse, or just being aware. There's many opportunities for us to learn and just to be, as mentors, we can be a guidance.
Exactly. I think it's also it's very important to understand that we don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah.
And so even people in sex trafficking and human trafficking, I don't know the extent of, what they're dealing with or, what they're going through. And just giving everybody grace around you, because we don't know what kind of day they had. We don't know their journey or their story. And so just really keeping that in mind, in every encounter. And Maribel, you talked about how you struggled with self-worth, whether that was with your body or who you were or people-pleasing. How did you overcome that and become the woman that you are today?
I'm actually still working on it. Sometimes I have my days where I look in the mirror, I'm like, man, you're so gorgeous. And then I have days where, one little comment that I get might affect me and I start to, doubt myself and my beauty. And then, but I've learned a lot from She Became that helped me. So it was more of a process of letting myself know that, hey, you're amazing, you're worth it, you are strong, and I am enough.
Perfectly imperfect, right? That's my favorite. It's because I know I have a lot to work on. I mean, don't we all, right?
We all do.
But just embracing that, it makes it so much easier to work on ourselves. Natasha, what are you working on right now to keep becoming a strong, beautiful woman?
Same thing. I mean, every day I just take it half day at a time. And I have to constantly remind myself that, we're all here for a reason. And the same God that spoke the universe into existence is the same God that that called us to this life. And we all have a purpose and we all have a calling. And, God is working on us. And, sometimes it's, going to your car at lunchtime and looking in that mirror and quoting scripture over yourself, or crying a little bit, or just reminding yourself that you are not alone. And that's the beauty of She Became as well, is, even if we'll go into one of our workshops and we have that time before where we talk and catch up and everything like that, and it's like, I'm not alone. My sisters are all going through it, and we're here to encourage, to build, and to be that positive role model for the girls who are not there yet where we are.
My favorite part about She Became that I haven't experienced really anywhere else is women who are actually willing to build you up.
Yeah.
I grew up not having any girlfriends, any at all, like, and that was really hard because I wanted to have friends, you know? And a lot of women have a hard time building each other up.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn and experience what that feels like to be loved by other women and who be built up and encouraged by others, go to She Became. I'm not kidding. Like, the fact that there's so many encounters with people who, if they see you're doing good, they don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
And that is something that you do not experience here. And I think that's something to just really keep in mind.
Yeah. Sisterhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joanna, what do you see in the upcoming months? I know we were talking about having an event sometime.
Absolutely.
So we'll be posting more details once again.
Yes. Man, that's a tough question, right? We see so much. The organization right now is at a very exciting time in its track right now. We're coming up with a decision whether we want to go left or right and how that's going to look like. And I won't share, but things are just going absolutely amazing. We are highly favored. We're so thankful for everyone that has supported us. And absolutely the team that is behind She Became, from our board members. Monique, she was on the show 2 years ago with me. She has been an amazing just team member, supporter of She Became. And
a shout out to Monique. We miss you.
yes, Monique. And our board has been absolutely amazing as well. And our team, our ambassadors, gosh, they're an amazing team. I'm so thankful because I really prayed for a strong team and just more overall reliable. But in the future, we do see having our program go into more schools. But definitely the long-term goal is take this international.
Yeah.
I am working on, now that I am an author, I'm working on speaking at more conferences and having the opportunity to share the story. With the story, actually comes the She Became model as well, right? And how we can continue to build. Our main focus at She Became is identity.
Yeah.
Starting with your identity is when you will be able to prevent so many other choices in life, whether that be, falling into the juvenile justice system or many other opportunities, right? So as long as we know our identity, we can build from there, because if we're confident, we're going to do better in school.
Yeah.
If we're confident, we're going to make better choices. If we feel strong and if we feel supported, we're going to make those right choices. And that's what it's about. It's about building those girls up to their full potential so they can continue to make successful choices in life.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you ladies so much for coming on, being vulnerable, sharing your stories, and being that vessel, that light that we were talking about. It's so important to share your story. That's what Shasta's Journey is all about, having real people with real stories come on set and share what has happened in their life. I hope you were taught, healed, or inspired by these ladies. If you want to learn more, go to shebecame.com. Also go to shastasjourney.com to share your story. Look us up on social media at Shasta's Journey and see more about what God's doing in my life. You can go check out her books, Discover Your Worth, and also this book right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a blessed day.